We're live. It is early today for us. It is 1 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States. It is 7 p.m. BST in the UK. So Nomad Tech Project, Sam, Joe, coming to you a little early. That's okay. So we got some stuff, family stuff going on. So we decided to put this in your ear holes and your eye holes a little earlier today. And if you're paying attention to the stream, if you aren't, you should. We got Petar, we got Direct Tech, who decided to spend and lose an hour of his life that he'll never get back hanging out with us here.
I've done worse things for an hour.
Yeah, won't we all? Welcome to the show. Glad you can finally make it. We really appreciate you taking time to spend
No, absolutely. Anytime, man.
Cool. So, Joe, do you have news?
I do, yeah.
Let's get it.
I've got
right to the news block.
The Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV.
Oh,
nice. It's not even come out of the box yet. I got it today.
Cool. So
that's gonna have a good display, man.
I guess so. Nothing phone. Like what? So what's the deal? Like, what's the scoop? Was it? I want to try an Xperia. Was it like nothing phone wasn't the thing? Like, what was it? Like, kind of give us the reason why.
I've wanted to try an Xperia since the Mark II. I've always had this itch to try one. So do you know what? I thought I might as well give it a go. I got an enhanced recycle on this, so 300 quid in recycle on it, which cleared down my previous contract. So it was a no-brainer, and I can claim a free TV on this as well.
That's so really why you took it.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
You took it for the TV.
I mean, what
free TV?
Honestly, what a great deal! Like getting a phone and a free television. I mean, it's almost like you're just giving away TVs just to sell the phones. I mean, it's awesome.
So in advance, thank you, Sony. Thank you very much.
And Dan, the Nomad Tech, he's got his. I guess he's getting an Xperia Mark IV as well.
Yeah.
It's inbound. He says Tuesday. All right, cool. We don't get those here. They don't. Well, they do sell Xperias. I did check it out at Best Buy. They do actually sell them there. Obviously, there's no contract or anything like that. You just buy them unlocked. But yeah, we don't get them through carriers here in the United States, which is kind of a shame because I'd probably take a swing on a Sony. I haven't had one since the XZ1. I think it was the only Sony I've ever owned. And I actually like that phone. So, Petar, what's your experience with Sony? Have you used them?
I've actually never experienced Sony, but back in 2014, 15, 16, I knew a few people back then who were rocking the Xperia, and I never heard of it in my life, but everyone was ranting and raving about it. And I just never got around to trying it, but I kind of wish I had now.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a good experience with the old XZ1. I mean, it's about, I think it's maybe 2018, 19. I can't remember when it came out. I just bought it kind of secondhand, and actually I didn't have a problem with it. I actually liked the phone. I mean, they had the one with the old Xperia with the huge bezels on it. So coming from a Windows phone, I was like, bezels are my jam. I love me some bezels. So
you know what? I tried Windows Phone, and I'll be honest with you, it's probably my worst tech experience to date.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Like some people like me really got into it and kind of liked the UI. There's other people that it just wasn't their thing. And it was like not only not their thing, they were like, I actively hate this UI. Like I hate this phone, which is cool. And I guess at the end of the day, you were on the right side of history because Windows Phone's gone, and here I am.
I don't think there's a right side. You know, I mean,
look at that.
Nice.
Is that little plastic? Oh, that was like foam bumper. It's just okay. He's just unboxing it right here, folks. He didn't even tell you, Joe.
Yeah, why not? Right, might as well.
I would. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I just thought he was going to talk about it. He's going to just bust it right open.
Do you know what? It's so light. It is so light.
It is so good in the hands. Is that how you're going to say?
It is so good in the hand.
It feels great.
It feels
turned on yet? It's not warm yet. Go ahead and
Let's turn it on. Yeah.
So anyway, go power up and see if it's got some power on it, and
should have some juice.
So while Joe's powering up his new device there, I guess I wanted to ask you, Petar, like what's the genesis of your channel? Like when you grew up, like when did you decide like I want to try this YouTube thing? Like kind of just the basics of the beginnings of your channel. Yeah, it says Sony.
Oh man, okay. I mean, I kind of guess you could say I've always had a penchant for tech since I was little. I was playing like the original Medal of Honor for PC back in like 1999, 2000.
Good game.
And it just kind of from there, it went to the PS1. And something as a kid, I was just always really into gadgets and tech. And I think I got it from my dad because my dad had like a crazy obsession with the original Tetris.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, my mom says like she couldn't get him to put it down. Like he was obsessive.
Right.
And so she says she sees it in me. As I kind of got older, phones were more of a thing, and I was just always really interested in phones. Fast forward now up to kind of say 2018, I've started taking a real interest. I've started watching like Mr. Who's the Boss and stuff like that. I was trying to upgrade as often as I could and stuff like that, you know, developing as a techie. Then fast forward to late 2019, my girlfriend saying to me, you know, you really enjoy tech. Why don't you do a YouTube? You spend so much time watching it. And I just said to her, like, I don't know the first thing about like videography and all of that. Like, I'm going to suck. I don't have the equipment and the budget. So I actually then found an Ali Abdul video where he showed like all you need is like a 50-pound Rode microphone and Filmic Pro. And I was like, well, I have an iPhone XS Max at this point. I can download Filmic Pro for £10. I'll get like a £10 tripod and screw it. I'm going to do it. Got my first MacBook in 2020 to start editing with. And yeah, that was like the spawn of Direct Tech. And it's been going ever since.
Cool. Well, that's not, I mean, that's kind of the high level overview, which is nice. But I mean, it sounds like, so you've used, obviously you have an iPhone and obviously you have a MacBook. So I guess it would be fair to say that, I guess when it comes to your channel, you would kind of skew towards more of an Apple, as far as using your own personal devices for editing and just personal use. It's not like more of an Apple use case for the most part, but not exclusively, I would assume.
Yeah, so I was going to say, because I've watched a few of your videos. Like the first video I ever watched was a 4XL one, I think.
Oh, cheers, mate.
So you do Android content, but yeah, I see on your logo it's all like very iOS. But yeah, you do a lot of Android as well, don't you?
Yeah. So look, I mean, as much as I love Apple and the Apple ecosystem, I don't like to just review Apple stuff, because as a techie, I don't feel like it's fair to not experience how the other side live. People want, want me to comment on how I think certain things compare and stuff like that, you know. So if I'm not using Android devices, Android products, I'm not really qualified to give an opinion until I've tried it. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy using Androids. You know, I used the Pixel 6a for a month, and the month before that, for a month, I had the Pixel 6 Pro, and they were absolutely superb. They're probably my favorite Pixel devices to date. I've got Pixel Buds A series, Pixel Buds Pro, various feelings on those. Right. But overall, I just don't think you can go wrong with either. I just stick with Apple because it suits my needs as a content creator now. And after certain experiences, you know, where I found some fallbacks in Android, some shortcomings, I just stick with it because of things like after sales care and the Apple Store.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there's no argument. I mean, even for a person who doesn't use Apple stuff routinely, the ecosystem and the fact that everything works, you can't go wrong with it as far as for a consumer. You know, you can make an argument that in the government space or productivity space or that kind of thing, and when you're doing like business enterprise space, I mean, obviously it's Windows, but yeah, for content creation or publications or editing, you can't go wrong. I mean, I think you just kind of, I mean, you could get it done with a Windows PC, but I think it'd probably be better served with a Mac just because it offers more, and that's kind of its wheelhouse, I would assume.
Do you know what really reeled it? Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so I just do everything on Android. Even the editing and everything I do on the phone.
Yeah.
That just shows you how amateur I am, though.
No, not at all. Honestly, I mean, who is it? There's a guy with like 50k subs, and he edits all his videos on a Samsung Note.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Note would be a good device to do it, to be fair.
Do you know what I mean? And it's still an ARM-based processor, so even if you got like Luma or something on your phone, you're still reaping all of the benefits. So Androids are more than capable of doing it. You know, they're more than capable.
Oh yeah, they're pocket computers, aren't they? They've got the ability to do it, definitely. And the apps are very good. I use Power Director, and it's got a lot on it.
Yeah.
A lot on it. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
So what exactly what's going on in your tech space? I mean, what phones are you using? Which ones are you looking to get? I mean, I know the Xperia Mark IV just came out, as Joe obviously has, and other devices are kind of coming, and obviously we know the certain fruit is going to have their devices coming out here in a little bit, a little launch date. So what's going on with you as far as like the next like 2 or 3 weeks for your channel?
14 Pro Max all the way. I started off the 13 generation with the 13 Pro Max. Really heavy, hefty, and after a while it was starting to bug me. And I downsized to the 13 Pro, which I've got on charge back there. And I've regretted ever since. I've decided that I can tolerate the heft and the strain on the hand for like the insane battery life.
All right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to be going 14 Pro Max. if the AirPods Pro drop at the event, the new one, Gen 2, I'm literally going to walk into the Apple store and throw my money in someone's face. Just take it and give me the AirPods before I change my mind.
Right.
Looking into getting a new iPad. I'm now iPadless. I recently sold mine. I had a 2020 Pro. 2 years came up. I thought a good time to cash in. So, I'm in the market for a lot of fruity tech.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the funny thing is and it goes to show you, you're not even going to listen to a review. Like, you don't even care about. It's like, look, I'm getting this phone, I'm getting the headphones, I'm getting an iPad. Like, you don't even care. And that, again, that pushes my argument that I've always told about Apple stuff is like, I think the majority of people who are using Apple products and the ecosystem and Apple can never run an ad ever again. They just said, hey, by the way, 14 Pro Max, come get it. And the people are like, I mean, even if they didn't know it was there, they would just walk by the store and they see the sign outside and it says 14, like, oh, yeah. And we're so used to now having the new iterative, either a 13, like an S series or a new phone. It's kind of like a yearly thing that, in the September timeframe, that's a thing. So, and that's why Apple does it. So again, they've gotten to the point where they're so good at it and they've become so good at it. They literally don't have to do anything other than just be. We just have to make phones and just make headphones and iPods and just sort of put them in the stores and let everybody just buy the stuff. And we don't even have to have an R&D or R&D. We have to have marketing budget.
The one thing that Apple's mastered better than absolutely anyone, and I think it puts them in the position they're in, is marketing. Mm-hmm. And I think the Intel CEO, there's a quote from him where he says, "We're getting beat by a lifestyle company." It's so intelligent the way they've positioned themselves. Like, they are a tech company first and foremost, but they pitch themselves as a lifestyle company. People literally buy the iPhone so they can walk down the street and show you that logo on the back. You know, how many people go to Starbucks just to sit there with a MacBook and be like, oh, yeah, look at me. I've got a £6 latte and a MacBook. Like, it's a flex. They've created a flex.
Right.
That says a lot about Starbucks people, doesn't it?
Well, Starbucks over Costa.
Right. And
the thing is, I'm Costa, me. I like Costa.
Yeah, and he's absolutely correct. I mean, when I walk into, and now I do go to Starbucks, I literally buy the coffee. Like, I don't think I've bought any of the other stuff that they make. Like, and I forget, it's pumpkin spice latte season, folks. So,
rejoice.
I can't even, like, pumpkin is just, I don't do pumpkin anything. It's just disgusting. And we've gotten completely insane.
I never tried it.
But you're not missing anything, I don't think. And it's crazy now. Now it's like pumpkin spice latte, and then it went to pumpkin, like, cereals, like breakfast cereals, and then it's like, I swear to God, if I see pumpkin toothpaste, I'm probably going to be like, well, that's probably a thing, right? It's just people go off the rails. Dude, I'm serious, man. There's pumpkin.
Yeah, but if Apple made it, it would sell well.
Sorts of shit. Oh, God, if they made a pumpkin spice
they can sell you a cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And if you gnaw on it, it just tastes like pumpkin spice. You just kind of, it's tasty. Yeah. No, but I mean, you're 100% correct. It's like, they go in there and it's no longer just, it's not about, about the technology. It's not about the phone itself. It's about the fact that you're in the in club. You've got a device and it's a lifestyle brand. It's literally, you got a MacBook and you got all the things and you got your little Apple Watch and you got your Apple and everybody just knows that you're dialed in. Like that's a happening cat, as opposed to, as Flossie would say, the peasant, right? Not meaning like poor.
Yeah, peasant.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but seriously, they've done.
To Petar's point though, that's where Google have improved this year, big time, because they've actually looked at their marketing, put a bigger budget on it. And they've followed suit, finally.
Yeah,
finally realised.
Advertising is rife. I mean, I've seen 6A adverts all over Hampshire.
They're everywhere, just like on TV and stuff. I've seen them on, like, billboards. I've seen pictures. I mean, and it's funny is, like, really? 10 years of Apple just crushing you, and then now it's like, hey, guys, this is advertising thing. Like, we should try that. And like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, does anybody else pay attention to what's happening? It's like, Microsoft doesn't have to really advertise because they're an enterprise brand and they're a software, right? But it's like, I can't believe Google's like, hey, you guys, man, like, Apple's just killing us. And it's like, how are they doing it? Clearly, it's like, does anybody else pay attention to this? Even laymen, regular consumers could tell you that. They're inundated with Apple ads, and they can get, and they're also, if you have carrier brands, there's so many good. They've been doing crushing deals on trade-ins for years. I mean, like, it's incredible what Apple can do, what they have done, and so they get all the credit. They've done the work. That's for sure.
You see what Dan said? It's not like Google are into advertising.
Yeah, We just collect data. We don't actually do anything with the data as far as like trying to tell everybody that we have stuff, right? It's like, I mean, even with their original Pixels. I mean, hell, have you ever seen a Pixel 4 XL ad? Never.
No.
Never. I mean, and finally, there was like, finally, you got to the 5 and started to kind of, you start to see it, and they almost pushed.
I love the Pixel 4 XL as well. I thought
it was a fancy, really it was a great phone. I love that device. And
really liked it.
I was close to leaving the iPhone that year. The only thing that ruined it for me was the battery.
Yeah.
4XL.
So I remember your video. You loved it.
To this day, it's still my favorite Pixel because it had squeeze for assistant, solely, super solid camera. It did everything so well. So well. I still think it's a better device than the 6 Pro in a lot of key areas. But yeah, great phone, and they didn't pitch it that well. And actually, that phone kind of got them in a bit of hot water because Mark Levoy left because he was pissed about the fact that they chose a telephoto lens that year over the ultra wide. And I mean, we've all used Pixels here. I've always felt like the telephoto is genuinely redundant on a Pixel.
Yeah,
because their portrait mode was always so good. It was like, what was the point of it?
Right. And even just the pinch to zoom, even if you're moving like a digital zoom, it's always pretty solid.
The super res zoom was great always. The super res zoom
10, it gets a
little super res is good.
But if you're going like 3 or 4x, I mean, it's pretty solid. I mean, you can't argue. And I love that squeeze feature. That's an old HTC. Oh, I just remember having I thought it was so underused. I thought I used it all the time on I had a U12, and I used to squeeze. It was so great, man. I was like, this is.
There's an app you can get that you can use that on other devices. I can't remember what it's called now. I'll have to look into it.
But I mean, that's just a shame too. And I thought the Pixel 4 XL, but they always offered, they always did advertisements on their software, right? That we have this and we have Google Maps, right? But they never really talked about their hardware. And I think it was honestly is because I don't think they thought Pixel would actually do anything. I thought they would try it out for a couple of years. When they got to the 4 XL, they're like, it's either we have to make a decision, right? Either we're staying with this and we're going into 5 and 6 and we're going to keep pushing, right? Or screw it. This isn't working. We're not getting any market traction. Screw it. We're not going to have a reference device. Essentially, we're just going to be done.
And then COVID hit.
Well, and I think they actually finally made it a good decision to stick to the hardware. I think a lot of companies don't do that. I think they give up on stuff too easy. I mean, Zune, right? There's a dozen devices you can think of that's like, man, really solid device, but they seem like these companies give up on it too easily. I mean, do you think, like Petar, do you think they're, I mean, do you like how the fact that they leverage it and go, okay, this isn't working, or do you think companies don't really take the time to invest and try to push it and see how far you can go if they shit can it?
So I think with, let's say, take the Pixel, for example, it's fantastic you're investing in the software, but you need to also invest in the hardware. They both need each other.
Right. So
you can't half-ass it.
Right.
And I think Tensor is a really, really clear show of investment in hardware. I think they've realized that they need to invest in the entire experience beyond the software. That's why you've got the watch come in, the tablet. Because when I say hardware, I'm talking not just like the display and the processor. I'm talking about the ecosystem, having multiple pieces of hardware.
Right.
Someone at Google has switched on and realized if we want to compete, if we want to be serious, if we want Android to improve, the spearhead has to come from us. It's our product.
Right.
Yeah. Android 12L shows that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're, they're improving.
Fold 4 looks great.
Yeah.
So have you had
it's massive to do?
Yeah. So have you had a chance to check out any of the Fold devices? I mean, actually, other than just a check, or I mean, I
went down to like a PC World Curry's and I got to check out the Fold 4.
Okay.
And it's nice, man. It's nice. It's a nice bit of kit. 100%.
It is a nice bit of kit, but I don't know why. I don't have any interest in it. I don't know why. Like, I look at it, I think that's beautiful, but could I actually see that as my phone? No, I can't. I'd rather have a decent phone and a tablet. That's me though. Like, it's all opinion, isn't it? Like,
well, of course. It's just, remember, that's the ultimate decision for any of us, right? It's what works for our work.
What works for you?
Yeah. And like I said, just before we went on live, Thar said he tried the Windows Phone. It didn't like it. It just wasn't
Couldn't
his
get
thing.
on with it.
Couldn't. Yeah. And some people now, is it because maybe they give up on it too early? Sure. Or maybe it's just because he did use it. He's like, it doesn't work for me. I don't like the UI. I'm not into the interface. I don't really, I don't see it happening for me. And that's the beauty of it. There's the choice.
Do you know what I think was a big issue for Google? And I think it's improving, but it's something a lot of companies' products that wither and die have a common issue. And it's a lack of strong leadership in terms of product management and direction. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Rick Osterloh is the man to take Google's Pixel division forward. Having spoken to like former Apple employees, there is a very clear vision, a very clear direction. Decisions get made like that. Right. Everything's cutthroat, it's business. And I've never felt like Google has at any point had that. You know, right. They need someone to just get a grip, take charge, and they have a 5-year roadmap. Because till now, it's felt like, okay, so we've dropped this device. So what are we doing next year? Like, anyone got ideas? Let's brainstorm. Apple already know what they want to put in the iPhone 16.
Oh, yeah.
They work 2 years ahead. They already know.
I think that's probably fair.
Oh, you have
I think that's pretty fair.
That's the only way you can, I mean, because of the lead time it takes for these devices, you have to have some clear direction. That doesn't mean you're locked into that, but you have to have some kind of 36-month roadmap about
an ethos as well. An ethos that is, you know, your product's ethos, basically. What is it that you want to do? And Google always says, we're about the ambient background computing being helpful. And I think that's something they've really started to knuckle down on, which I think is great. It's great. You need customers to identify with, why am I choosing your brand? What is it about the Pixel device? Like, it's 1, 2, 3 specific selling points that the customer can consistently identify with. That's something that they're starting to knuckle down on. Establish an identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that was the point. I think that you hit perfectly. It's like they have to have some kind of identity, something that aligns what you feel and how you feel about your devices with what they're offering to you. It's like,
take OnePlus as an example.
Right.
OnePlus are a great example. Everyone identified with them as the budget flagship. It was so clear very early on. Right. You know, and I think there's a really good difference. If you look at how OnePlus very early on established an identity and how quickly they strew a large, strong customer base.
Oh, yeah.
That was very loyal. If Google had done that, they may well be in a better position right now.
I agree.
It probably stems from the fact that early on, they weren't even sure if they were going to carry on with Pixel.
Right.
Because looking back at Nexus, they just killed it off.
Right. We're just we're not doing it anymore. We're done.
Yeah, exactly. And look at the services, the graveyard of services.
That's not like Google to do that, is it?
Yeah, but and just leaving services, like, and how they just kind of seem like they always, like Allo and all these other kinds of things. It's just like at some point a couple of years ago, they just seemed to be kind of all over the place. They didn't really have it didn't feel
strong leadership,
right? Or it didn't seem like they had a good direction on top of the leadership, right? They didn't have a good idea of like, where do we want to be? We're just kind of throwing everything against the wall and see if it sticks. A bit.
They need Lenny Bonds. That's what they need.
That's what they need, Lenny Bonds. And speaking
Lenny
of that,
Bonds in charge.
And if you
the
want
Pixel Man himself.
If you want to see more of what's going on, check us out at Purposely Pixel, our YouTube channel. We got all sorts of stuff, Pixel stuff, other stuff. That's who hosts our show. Folks over there, Lenny and the gang and Neil and all them, they're really good. They put videos out, doing good work. They're trying to give you some other options other than the mainstream channels. And check them out. So it's Purposely Pixel YouTube channel. Give them a shout out, like a video, sub the channel, and maybe comment. Be engaged. They like that kind of stuff.
And obviously, go through our whole playlist. There's loads on there now. Nomad Tech Project.
Right. Just
some amazing guests we've had.
We might actually have a mix. Maybe. I don't know if we do or not, but maybe they have, like, YouTube's got mixes. Maybe we have that. I don't know.
Yeah, mate, they might do. Nomad mix.
Probably. Yeah,
they should have if they haven't.
And to Petar's point, I like the fact that that's what Panos Panay did with the Surface team. I mean, he is like taking that entire Surface line and really, I mean, at first they were thinking this Surface thing is not going to take off. Like, we are not going to be able to really leverage this hardware. And I think right now they offer a lot of stuff. Now, granted, not all of them are landing, right? You got Surface Neo that didn't become a thing, and there was a couple of Windows 10X didn't really go anywhere either. So they're trying, but you can tell that he's really passionate, and there is some at least leadership in that branch. Everything else, who knows? I know there's enterprises that are pretty good too. So.
I just want to throw this out there. Putting Lenny in charge of the Pixel would be dangerous because Google Assistant would pick up a New Jersey accent, and no one is going to understand it.
Right,
that'd be awesome.
I don't want my Pixel
I'd love that.
Like it's from New York.
Especially if it's giving directions like, what did he just say? Hey, you suck. Turn around. It's like, okay. All right. There you go. Yeah, I would agree.
Pixel start answering back, mate.
Right.
Yeah, they would.
Are you sure you want to go there? Actually, not.
Oh, shit.
No, I don't actually. Google Assistant. I'll go wherever you'd like me to go. So I guess the other question is, you got the 14 coming out. I guess they have to ask the question, they're changing the notch. Like, yay, nay, do you care? Is it a thing? Does it really matter? I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
I will say, you as an iPhone user, looking at the notch day to day, when I'm just interfacing with it to use iMessage, whatever, I don't notice it.
Right.
But I do like to watch content on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And when I want to full screen something and I've got this weird notch cutout in my content, that is when it starts to piss me off.
Yeah.
That is when it starts to piss me off. Do I think what's coming is an improvement? For sure. There's a lot of, is it this style? Is it the eye pill or one continuous pill? I don't know. I'm going to wait till basically we've seen it and I've experienced it for myself. But I think either or is a massive improvement.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree.
It's a massive improvement. So in an ideal world, I would have gone for an Android-style punch hole in the top left because, let's be honest, we all orientate our device landscape this way, so the punch hole is in the bottom left.
Right.
And it's completely out of the way. And I think one of my all-time favorite viewing experiences was on the Pixel 4a 5G because of that.
Right.
It was nigh on all display.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There's no interruption.
Beautiful. I love it.
No interruption in the display.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of looked at them both. I at first I didn't like the interrupted, like the two different, the separate.
I am not a fan.
I don't know if I like that. I like, if you're going to do one, just have one continuous.
Just do one cutout and.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can understand why they would want to do it because I guess you could get screen real estate in the middle between, but I mean, I think it's more disruptive than really what it offers you. So I would hope they go to a continuous. I don't notice the notch. You're right. When I have an iPhone for work, with my bank phone, and I use it. And honestly, I don't notice the notch, but I also don't watch videos and stuff on my phone. I do have Teams, but it's always, I just kind of set it up in, just the way I hold the phone. I don't put it in landscape. And really, I'm not paying attention to it. I'm really just doing audio so I can see pictures. So it really, the only time I ever use any essentially video capability, it doesn't bother me. So, but I know for watching content for people like you, I know that just has to drive you crazy.
As an Apple user, though, do you wish they had fingerprint scanner?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yes, Face ID is secure, convenient. You're already looking at it. Just double tap the lock button, away you go. Can't fault it. There's nothing wrong with it in that sense. But there's something satisfying in using the fingerprint sensor. I like using the fingerprint sensor. I was always a big fan of the rear-mounted fingerprint sensor on the older Pixels because you could pull down you could swipe down.
I loved that
menu. Yeah. And that was awesome. And it was like putting your hand in your pocket and just like putting your finger on the back button. So by the time you pulled it out, it's already unlocked.
Right.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
And plus also that's where your finger would normally, if you were holding the device, looking at content, your finger would kind of naturally rest there.
Naturally, yeah.
In the position where you would not only you have the phone unlocked, but that's how you would probably hold it. And I'm a big fan of the side mounted too. If you have like on the Duo, but yeah, I don't dislike
the side mount.
Yeah, the side mount, dude.
I like the in display, man. I'm all about the in display.
Yeah, and like I said,
so I'm not. I like capacitive.
Really good, if it's really good, yeah, I'm in. But some of these are like on some of these phones, they're fingerprint. This is my LG Wing today. That's the phone of the day, and the fingerprint reader on this one's a little slow, but it's an LG, so that's what it is. But yeah, I like the fact that this should have, and that was my one knock against the Pixel 4 XL is it didn't have any other kind of biometric lock, and I was like, man, that would suck if you can't.
It was so flawless though; it didn't need anything else.
I love it.
So flawless.
Soli
was great.
I wish they would have kept it. I'm curious. I wonder.
Yeah.
Why. I'm just curious, like in the bowels of Google CEOs and executives and developer people, like, why did you get off that? So, I mean, you spent obviously so much time developing it. Why did they just? I mean, it's like
I can explain that a little bit if you like.
Sure.
So, because of how sophisticated and intelligent Soli is, and how easily available it is to buy secondhand bulk Pixel 4 XL devices, Pixel 4s. It's actually a counter-terrorism thing. They're incredibly easily weaponized and used for precision-guided munitions.
Sweet.
So basically what it is the American government said because of how easy it is to weaponize this, and governments like Iran could buy it en masse and start producing very precise munitions, you cannot export it beyond X amount of markets. And Google looked at it and said, we want to go further than these markets, so they have to remove it. Because you can't say, okay, well, in the US and UK, I'm going to sell a Pixel which has Soli and Face ID. But if you're anywhere else beyond these pre-approved markets where we think there's sufficient counterterrorism controls in place, we're not selling it with that. So across the board, they just chose not to sell it. That's what it actually came down to.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Like,
because Sony was that good.
Yeah, I never really got into it. I just thought it was one of those things where I never really kind of got into the weeds on what the decision was and what was, what was driving that decision at a company level to get right. Because on the 4XL,
they didn't get a choice.
So good. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I know. Well, welcome to the U.S. government. You know us. It's like, they're like, you can't do that. So stop. Like yesterday. That's okay.
So do they still use it though in some? I wonder if they'll use it on the tablet or not.
I don't.
I know they're looking at bringing it back, but in what capacity, I don't know.
A dumbed down version, maybe.
Yeah,
potentially a simpler sensor. I don't know.
Yeah.
Our man at DT in the chat, Joe is purposely Xperia.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
I like it.
Absolutely. So you got that, the 14. So what else are you looking forward to? I as far as iPad, what's your consent? Do you like the smaller one, the minis? I mean, like for your use.
I'm all about the 11-inch, which is what she said.
Oh, you got it before me.
We'll be here all week. You can tip the waitress, right?
Yeah. I'm all about the 11-inch. It's light, portable. It's that perfect middle ground. Not too big, not too small, portable, enough screen real estate to enjoy it on a plane, like I've done many times, to work on, to use it with universal control, with the MacBook and stuff like that. 12.9 inches, and apparently they're talking about going up to like 13.5. It's literally the size of this MacBook display. And it's a lot of display, but I don't need that much display.
Right.
That's what I've got a TV for.
Exactly.
It's true.
For me, a tablet is supposed to be larger than my phone, but not unwieldy. What I'm really looking for with next generation iPads is an OLED display. I'm a big fan of OLED, man. I'm a big fan. I know they brought out this mini LED or whatever it's called on the newer iPads, the M1s, but it was initially only available on the 12.9. I really, really do not like when Apple makes something an exclusive to the largest version. For example, take the 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. The 12 Pro Max had the larger sensor compared to the 12 Pro. I don't like that. If I'm buying an M1 iPad, I want the same display on both. So the first thing I'm looking for is hardware unity. Okay. Mini LED, I can't look. Even the old IPS LCD that was on my 2020 Pro, it's a great display. But I just want. I'm a display snob. I'm a display snob. I like OLED and I like the colors.
Fair enough.
I'll be honest with you, man. I watch a crap ton of Star Trek when I'm doing the dishes. All right. I want maximum like deep red Picard on my display. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Totally get it. So yeah, I mean.
So you next generation? With,
I'm a big fan. I'm watching Voyager at the minute.
Okay. I need to check Voyager out. I never watched Voyager.
I'm not a Star Trek like huge fan. I mean, I like the shows and everything, and I know about it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority. I like Deep Space Nine. I always thought it was kind of a cool show. I mean, I know people like.
Yeah, I like it.
I was kind of
into it. Check it out.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I mean, it wasn't like my favorite. I mean, I liked obviously the Next Generation and stuff like that, but I don't know. I was kind of digging Deep Space Nine. I thought it was kind of cool. But oh well. But yeah, Voyager was good too. That got a little weird at the end. They're just kind of like, okay, we gotta get back to we gotta get back home at some point. So I guess now we're gonna leverage sport. Yay!
We love a bit of sport.
Well,
although I don't like sport today.
Oh God! What did your team lose today? Is that what it is?
Well done, Sam. Yes, they did.
Here's how you can always tell somebody from the UK is not having a good day. If they say they're having a shit day, it's because their team lost in football. I don't give a shit what it is, even if it's just
not always.
If it's a friend,
some people don't like football, believe it or not.
I can't imagine anybody. I mean, how many people in the UK don't like football? Like 12, 13, 15?
Roger doesn't.
Yeah, well, it's okay. So
there are weird people who like cricket.
Oh yeah,
which I don't think is a sport, but there you go.
I try to watch it. I don't know what's going on. I mean, nobody, and I don't have anybody kind of explain to me what the overs are or what the hell's happening. I don't know. It looks like baseball kind of, but it's not really. I don't know what's happening here. It's
looks like baseball, but not.
I got nobody kind of explaining what's happening. Like, okay, we do this, and this is what's happening. And these are overs, and whatever. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out. So until I can figure it out, it's not a sport, and that's just kind of how it goes. So I guess are you into football, Petar? And if you are, yes. What is your? Because I know Matt's team, I know Joe's team. I don't have a team because I'm in the UK. But what team do you follow?
Queen's Park Rangers from Shepherd's Bush. I have been a season ticket holder pretty much from 2010 up until this year, due to petrol prices, because I'm not driving from where I live to London with these petrol prices.
Right.
I can get fucked. But other than that, yeah, QPR is my team. Always been there. Loud, pretty much. I'm surprised I still have a voice to this day. I sit in the rowdiest part of the stadium.
Oh, the hooliganisms. Yeah, it's okay. I like how it gets.
I've stormed on the pitch before. I've been on the pitch before.
Oh wow.
The skinhead makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they can't grab your hair and pull it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, Neil said he wished Matt was here because his team beat Derby yesterday. 3-2.
Yep.
I don't know.
2-0, and they fucked it up.
So I don't
sung
know
that for you, Neil.
Who does?
Did you enjoy that?
I don't know who Neil follows.
Well, his team beat him 3-2, but they were 2-0 down.
Oh, so basically Derby took a piss.
Yeah, well, they might. Yeah, I think they must have all took a piss on the side of the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I don't have, the only teams I know for sure. Well, I know Arsenal. I know Man United. And the only reason I know Tottenham is because of Ted Lasso. and then now your team, the one I never heard of that team. So is that
QPR? You might know them as QPR.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
No,
I got enough acronyms in my world of work. I don't want to hear any more of those acronyms. But yeah, I mean, so are they in the Premier League? Or are they in the
Championship, one league below?
Okay, so now have they been relegated recently, or have they been kind of like? Do they just kind of sit in that championship for a while?
We got relegated back in like 2015, 2016.
Okay,
I think in the last 10 years we promoted twice and got relegated both times, but neither times we were good enough. We've been up for 3 seasons. There you go. We've done 3 Premiership seasons in the last 10 years. But neither times we were good enough to stay up. And frankly, do you know what? I'm pretty happy playing in the Championship. I get more games for less money, more adventurous football, a better time.
Championship's fantastic nowadays.
Better crowd, better atmosphere. And honestly, do you know what? There are a lot of players in the Championship who deserve more of a spot in the England team than a lot of these people who play for Premiership teams. And they probably play their heart out because they genuinely do it for the jersey. Whereas a lot of the other players now coming from large Premiership teams, they're just concerned on getting back to their club ready for the next season to hit their incentives on their contracts. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite often the case.
So is there like a standard season, or does it change? I mean,
there's a standard season. Yeah.
Okay. So are they, again, in the middle of it, right? So where are we in the season essentially? Are we at the beginning?
We just started.
Okay.
You say it as if like I know. That's why I'm asking. I assume
you should know, Sam. Do your research.
I don't want to. They don't show games here, and then when they do, it's like every once in a while, MSNBC or whatever it is, they'll show it. It'll be like, I think one day, I don't know who the hell was playing. There's 2 teams I'd barely ever heard of, and it was just like on, whatever the NBC or whatever it was, and it was like,
yeah, 'cause you get quite a lot of coverage out there, didn't you?
They actually do it. And then of course, here in St. Louis where I live, we're actually next year is when our MLS team starts. So we're kind of excited about that, although they're probably not going to be very good. But the stadium's kind of coming along. It's downtown. I pass it when I go to work and stuff. It's pretty good. I would like to go to a match. To me, football is one of the things I can't watch on television. I'd have to be. That's one of those things like ice hockey, like NHL hockey. I can't watch it on TV. I love being at the rink. I mean, it's just.
I went to my first hockey game. Not long ago. Yeah, man.
How did that go? Like, did you okay, my question, did you kind of...
It wasn't violent enough. I was disappointed.
Well, it used to be back in the 90s because, yeah, but it's gotten a little calm now. But, so what did you think of it? I mean, and where were you? Was it in the UK? Like, where they
So my local team are called the Basingstoke Bisons.
Okay.
And I live like 5 minutes from the ice rink, and my girlfriend's always wanted to go. So I was like, okay, we can go.
Right.
And,
what'd she think?
Oh, she loves it. She's been loads of times. It was my first time going. And actually, it was pretty good. It was pretty good crack, pretty intense, which I quite enjoyed. There was a lot of roughhousing, and I was like, oh, he's going to do it. That's it. He's going to deck him. And then they're just like, have a little chin wag and then part ways. I was like, come on, mate, just deck him already. Like,
yeah,
I've got this beer here, just ready to like throw it or something. But
See, that's what I was going to ask. Can you drink in the stand? Because I love all sports that you can drink in the stands.
Oh yeah, and that's
That's the only thing, Sam. Football, you can't.
Do what? You can't drink at a football match? No,
not in the stands. No,
I got thrown out for it once.
So I guess I guess my question is, could you go like out of the stadium like to a concourse and get one at like a concession stand? And
yes, you can, and then watch it on the TV
in the ground, but you have to stay downstairs.
Oh God, that's kind of, I guess because people throw it at each other, or I guess it just gets too crazy. I don't know. I mean, I would just
people throw it and all sorts. Yeah.
See, Matt was trying to get me to go, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go to a match because I don't want to be the American that looks like a complete idiot, and then somebody's going to say something slick to me, and I'm probably going to tell him to shut his fucking mouth, and then I'm probably going to get into a fight, because and it's not because I want to, it's just like I just want to like kind of be in the, but I want to experience all of it, and I can tell Petar's probably been in some places that may or may not have gotten a little, where some physical counseling was happening probably in the stands. Where people talking to each other, catching hands a little bit there in the stands. So
there's been a couple of occasions after the game people have wanted to catch hands. Now whether I parlayed or not is another matter.
Right, but, and we'll just because you got to go to the parking lot where you can get your car and stuff like that.
Oh no, you just have to go where Metropolitan Police aren't. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah.
So I guess what team did you lose? Arsenal lost to who do they even play?
Yeah, I lost £10. I don't know.
Sam, we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
No, it's Man United. Man United. Yeah.
I thought they weren't that good. I thought they were like really good.
No, they've won their last 4 games, including today.
No.
It's all right. It's a long old season.
It's right. Remember, it's not how you start; it's how you finish. And do you get relegated?
Yeah.
I guess that's at the end.
That's it.
So cool. I mean, that's a lot of fun. And so I guess the only other thing I can think of is, Joe, do you have anything else we need to talk about? Maybe possibly a sponsor.
Yeah, let's talk about Petar's name, Direct Tech. How did that come about?
I'm curious. I was going to ask about that, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Like, I was always amongst my number of rounds. And then it stopped me like, all right, listen, like this XYZ person is going to be there. Like, please just shut the fuck up. Like, I know you don't like them, but just shut the fuck up and don't say anything. Like, just tolerate them. I'm like, all right. As long as they don't say anything stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then I have like 4 drinks and they say something dumb and I turn around and I'm like, no one fucking likes you. Why are you here? Wow. Like, you're like a token just for the evening. And I've always been really blunt. Or like, if I don't like, I got hanging out. And I've always been to say anything, whether it's tech or I just thought, tech, direct to the point, and there you go.
I'm getting a bit of lag my end.
Yeah, it's okay. I think his connection got a little. We got most of it, but it was a little pixel. It's okay.
Of hardwired in.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. I think I got the gist of it though.
Yeah, he's
got the gist of it. And I think if you follow Petar on Twitter, you'll experience that.
Oh, I do, and I actually kind of appreciate that because it's kind of a no holds barred kind of approach, and I kind of like that. I mean, I don't know if I would have enough. I mean, I've had to kind of calm down in my older days, but I like being direct. At least you know where somebody lives, right? And these are things that you know
where you're at.
And he's passionate about it, and that's what I don't want somebody who's going to be doing tech that just kind of laissez-faire. I like somebody who's a little bit more upfront.
Me, it's take for example, I've no comment getting my not a big use. It's taken for a year to get to 1 subs. Yet, over that period, I know for a fact I've impacted people's purchasing decisions with my content, right? So if I'm going to start dishing this advice out, I try to remove any bias that I can, and I really do try to look at it as objectively black and white, hard fact, right? What do I of this brand device? Is it something I would personally use, and if why? That's what has my content on. Like, for example, everyone who's in the stream now, Lenny, Neil, Dan, they all know how absolutely devastatingly harsh I was on Google when the Pixel 6 dropped, right? Because it's an experience that I always loved. It was my go-to Android recommendation. It was really, really reliable. Okay. Yeah. Pixel 6 launched with Android 12, and it just took it was like a nosedive of a cliff for me.
Yeah.
Android 12 was horrendous. I was having issues with the fingerprint sensor, and it was not unusable. It was unusable, and I had to send it back.
Right.
Fast forward 9 months, and I've made a Pixel 6 Pro 9 months later video, and I've said it's like a new device. It's like a second coming for it.
Right.
It's probably one of the greatest revival stories in tech. And Android 13 breathes new into the Pixel 6 series. They have turned it around, but gonna give any kind of favor. Your Pixel 5 and 4 were great. I can let it pass. Absolutely not. Because you're expecting people to pay 40, 50 pounds a month for these devices. Or you expect them to go into the store and cough up 900 pounds for a Pixel 6 Pro. Regardless, it's a financial burden that they're signing for 24 months.
Right. So that's the thing. It's weird because my experience was good of it. Well, I had a really good experience, but I think there was a big handful of people that got really unlucky, and you being one of them.
And I think it's more than just a handful. I'd say a really a lot of people really started having issues with it first.
Maybe.
The real measure was the inconsistency in experience. If you're not having a consistent experience, if it's like 10% of people saying I have a bad experience, you can put that down to bad units. But when it feels like it's more like 50-50, you have a real problem. You have a real problem, and I just happened to come across people at work who I've never worked. I'm a contractor. I'm an electrician. And they were having pixels. And I was like, what? I've never seen so many pixels in the wild. And I just had to go over and be like, look, I know this is
advertising.
Random, but
yeah, he had to ask because it's like something you have to find out.
I'll go over them look, I do tech YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Nobody ever really buys this brand. Can you just tell me what made you buy it? So they tell me, and they're like, okay, cool. You got a good deal on it. Sweet. How's your experience so far? And up until I don't know, April, May, everyone was saying to me, oh man, it's really buggy. Oh man, I don't know if I want to stick with it again. Maybe I'll just go back to Samsung. They all said the same thing. I think I'll go back to Samsung. Yeah. Now, obviously, over time with updates, that's going to level out. And they probably don't have the attention span to remember that far back.
Right.
But some people may well have jumped ship and sold it and gone, I can't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. That's the shame too. Is that might have been their first attempt at getting a Pixel device, and first impressions matter. And now they're like, well, I try to get this Pixel. I heard so many good things about it, but it's been just not usable. It's been a terrible experience. I can't rock this. I got to go back. Where, that's the sucky part. They finally got in on Tensor, right? That's a new chip, a new set of hardware, a new Android build, and everything else, and it kind of staggered a little bit, and a lot of people who were first time people diving in on the Pixel really left a bad taste in their mouth. That really sucks.
I think Tensor is what tripped them up.
Yeah,
because credit where it's due, it's a big venture for them to make something like Pixel. Like Tensor, should I say? Yeah. Right. They're genuinely very junior when it comes to creating this hardware. So the fact that, I don't know, let's say, was it 5-6 years in now? Or is that about it? Maybe 7 years? To at that early on, already be developing your own silicon for your devices is a bold move. Okay. And I think Android 13 demonstrates they didn't really understand how to work with Tensor.
Right.
For that initial period.
Maybe.
And as time's gone on, they've obviously collected data and whatever else with Android 12, the feedback and everything submitted through the Pixel tips and support in the menu, the crash logs. Android 13 is the polar opposite. It's been a phenomenal experience on every device, even through beta. It never really felt like a beta. Okay.
See, this is weird. My experience, though. See, I love my Pixel 6 Pro. It's always been good for me. But actually, my battery life has gone down since I've had Android 13. I still love it. I still love this device, but it's actually gone down a little bit.
Yeah, and
which is interesting.
Did you do a factory reset? And I laugh because I always do that now. And I guess it's from the days of having custom ROMs and stuff and flashing ROMs on my HD. Anytime I go to a major update release, I always just wipe the phone. because
Sim's going to go in the Xperia, so I might do that. Just give it a
I don't know. I mean, and
give
again,
it a
maybe it's
flash.
just placebo. Maybe it isn't a thing, but I just, I want to have a fresh build, a fresh install, completely wipe the phone, and not.
I think with Android devices, it really does help.
Yeah,
I have
it probably does.
Android devices. I don't know if it's like on a kernel level because it's more PC-esque. If you know what I mean.
Little skeletons.
Yeah, it's probably good to give it a wipe,
Mm.
and just let it start fresh.
Yeah, especially if you're
I might do that.
Degradation either in the performance or a battery or something like that. It would just, a lot of times too, I just I just do it as a habit now. Like when I got the 13, I installed it, let it run a little bit, and then the next day I just shut the whole thing down, wipe the whole phone, and I don't install it off of a backup. I install it completely clean. Reinstall all the apps fresh. I don't, because I've had issues where
that would drive me nuts.
I picked a backup and it was like it's okay, but I've had issues where I've gotten backups and some apps just don't work right. It just, for some reason, I think when they're being saved, when they're trying to cache them in, I think they just get weird. So yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but I've gotten so good at doing it now, and I don't have a lot of apps, but for a person like Petar, it's probably it's a non-starter. I'll wipe the phone. I'm just going to restore a backup because fuck, just download everything.
Well, funny you mention it. I mean, even for Apple devices, and this is coming from the Genius Bar at the Apple Store, they also recommend not installing from a backup. If you've had software issues and they, wipe the device or replace the device, they said to the guy at the bar, I was overhearing the conversation, don't install it from a backup because the problem could well be within the backup. Right. Just do it as a fresh installation. So it is an across-the-board thing, but I just have generally noticed it tends to be more with Android. You need to do a factory reset. I can probably count on one hand how many times in 4 years I've had to factory reset an iPhone over a software issue.
Right. I had to at one time.
It fixes it.
I had an old iPhone 8, and I had to restart it. I had to just wipe it. It just was. It was
iOS 11, man, terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was, and I know it wasn't a hardware thing. I think it was just something in the software just got weird, and it just didn't like it, and it kept just crashing on it. So I'm like, what, screw it. But you're right. But as a general rule for me, being an Android person, I always, when I install a brand new update and it's not from a beta, I just completely wipe the phone and just install apps one at a time and kind of get everything back kind of to where I like it. And it seems like it works for me. Again, it may not, your mileage may vary on that, but I would try that. If you're having some issues with the battery on your 6 Pro, I would suggest wiping it on 13 and just trying it again and see.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah, and then like I said, clean the cache, device health services, all that kind of stuff. Just go from scratch and see, or just buy a new Android device and you don't have to worry about wiping shit because then it comes with the factory fresh. Right? It's all fresh and clean. So how are you liking it so far? Is it getting warm already? Are you installing apps and it's getting toasty?
No, I didn't want to play about with it too much. It's not professional, Sam. You see,
right, exactly.
I'm ever the professional me,
Right, and looking good, so that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, well, I had my polo on from work earlier. I had to quickly shove this on. Didn't need an iron, so I quickly shoved it.
So, Petar, where are we at? Like, what's the next? What's the rest of 2022 looking for the channel as far as obviously the 14?
Obviously,
there? What are you
we're going to have Apple Watch Series 8, AirPods Pro 2, iPhone 14 Pro Max. I'm also looking to get a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Cool. I'm also going to look to grab the Pixel 7 or 7 Pro with the Pixel Watch because, like I said, it's a great device, great software, great experience. Google is so good at delivering a really helpful experience, very streamlined and logical, extremely functional. And it's their first smartwatch. And the Pixel, this is what really gets me about the Pixel and why I struggle to hold on to it as much as I enjoy it, right? As a standalone device, phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But for someone like me coming from the watch, the MacBook, and everything else around it, I have these moments where it also starts to feel a little hollow. Like, yes, they've got the buds now, but I'm just used to having like my little trifecta on the go: the watch, the buds, and the phone.
Yeah, it's hard for you to kind of especially when you're used to that how it all works, and it's really hard.
The functionality of that kind of day-to-day setup. I think where they're doing a fantastic job is they're shoring it up now with the Pixel tablet that's coming along, the watch that's coming along. I think what they're doing with the buds is fantastic. The A series are good. The Buds Pro are good. I wasn't their biggest fan, but I don't think they're terrible. I still think they're solid.
I really want to see another Chromebook from them. That's what I want to see.
Right, Chromebook. Yeah. So I think once they've tackled the tablet and the watch, and maybe give it a year or two to refine it, because I don't know if you guys share this sentiment, but Google's first generation products, I'm always thinking buyer beware. Like I
think that's with any brand. I think any brand, to be honest, and Google, especially these days.
And Google has earned that reputation with the 4X.
I think with Google, you really just have to give it that little bit extra of buyer beware.
Right, I agree.
You know, I would have more faith, and I'm going to sound biased, but I have more faith in a first generation Apple product that comes to market being genuinely prepared to be on the market than I do with Google. And look at Tensor and its first generation run. You know, I never felt like early on for the first 9 months it was ready to be on market.
Yeah, and I agree with Vry here. Like I like the Pixel Book. I know it was a little high. But man, that was a nice piece of kit. I liked the Pixel Book. I thought,
and they've got such a big market. I think genuinely there's a big market out there for a Google ecosystem. You know,
definitely.
I think there's on some level somewhere out there with a little bit of digging and a little bit of hard work, there's more potential in a Google ecosystem than a Samsung ecosystem, because they have the services.
Right.
So I was going to ask you what you thought of the Samsung ecosystem, and have you considered sort of going into them, having a little look?
So I've dabbled in the Samsung ecosystem a couple months back, maybe March, April. I had an S21 Ultra, the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, a Samsung tablet, and their Buds Pro.
Yeah.
My thoughts on that. I think they've got potential. I think they let themselves down with things like Exynos.
Yeah, the Exynos chips,
is terrible. Like, I flat out refuse to ever recommend a Samsung device while they maintain selling Exynos. And on top of that, I refuse to respect Samsung as a brand. I don't care what they do with the Fold and the Watch Pro with the great battery life. You do not respect your consumers equally across the board.
Here.
They do not value the British consumer. They deliberately sell Exynos devices at the same price as they do
the whole of Europe.
Device, you know?
Yeah.
They don't sell the same trade-ins. Like, people are getting $800 for an iPhone 6S on trade-in, but my 13 Pro is worth £250. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
absolutely ridiculous. The incentives just aren't the same.
Yeah, I don't think that should be regionally based. I think that should be across. Either everybody gets it or nobody gets it. I don't.
Or Snapdragon next year, isn't it? But you know why? Because Pixel's taken the Exynos.
But just with the deals too, I agree with him 100%. It's why is there that disparity?
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that it doesn't feel like it's specific to the UK market, right? Or why people who live in the UK would just be like, we're getting picked on a little bit here. It's like, that's not, you can't give me a good business justification for that, because that's the problem.
I mean, I can tell you what their business justification is. I'm 100% certain I've nailed it down. If you want to hear it.
Absolutely.
We're always open to hearing it. Yep.
Samsung is semiconductor, and it's a massive division for them, right? Let's keep in mind that at the heart of who Samsung are, the mobile division is not it. It's just a division. It's just another diversified revenue stream for them. Yeah.
Yep.
Their semiconductor division, they sunk £12 billion into foundries for developing silicon. Now, when you look at the production and the quality of their nodes like that, their competitors TSMC, okay, for example, the original Snapdragon 1, the original one, Qualcomm and Samsung, they couldn't get the from TSMC because Apple basically owns the majority, right? They throw money at TSMC because they heavily rely on TSMC for the quality of their silicon. And even people who are buying the S22 Ultra with the 8 Gen 1, the original one, weren't getting a good experience. And this is because the quality of their nodes is poor. And that is where Exynos falls over, not just on an architecture level, but a genuine manufacturing level. The quality of their manufacturing is poor, and they're not getting as much business as they would like. So now we're getting to the end game here. Why do they continue to literally impose Exynos and keep selling it? It's because they need to recover the money.
Yeah.
If you're not putting your own silicon from your foundries in your own devices, how the fuck are you going to expect anyone to, give you a £20 million order for your foundries?
Right, for their devices, their semiconductor.
They need to recoup the money, and they need to show at least some confidence in the product.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting that in Korea they used to use the Exynos, and I think there was 1 year they went with Snapdragon.
2 years ago they stopped.
Yeah,
and that was a big thing in your home
because there was complaints.
Right, in your home market,
you don't sell it.
Yep.
A lot of people got sacked over that when they had to switch over.
Absolutely,
it was embarrassing for them.
Clearly, not enough people.
Right.
Yeah, clearly not enough. Yeah.
So.
God.
And so my question, Joe, is with your new Xperia, are you going to get a skin? And if you are, where are you going to get it from?
Well, there's only one place to get one, mate, and that is extremeskins.co.uk.
That's right. You need to get some of those. Go check them out. They got all sorts of.
Get some skinnage
available. Get some skinnage.
Is that a word?
No, I don't know. It's a little dodgy.
That's not going to stick, is it? Skin will stick though.
Yeah, let's just So basically,
that jokes keep rolling.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, check them out if you want to. If you don't like the color of your device, or all they had was the black model, and you don't really want the black carbon or whatever.
To be fair, yeah,
get you whatever.
That's all I could get.
Right. So now you can throw it on there, a nice skin, protect the phone, make it look shiny and new and branding and color coded, and buy a whole bunch, and then change them every once in a while, like I do. So you got a bunch of devices. Hell, even had the Duo too. They're really good folks over there, guys and gals over there at extremeskins.co.uk. Check them out. Give you a lot of deals. Pretty good, and if you put the skin on wrong, they'll just fuck with you because that's kind of cool. That's how they
skin your tech in style.
Absolutely. So check them out, and also remember, don't forget, this is going to be streamed on the Purposely Pixel YouTube channel. Go check that out as well. Petar, my friend, thank you very much for taking your time. I know it's a little earlier than it would normally go, but we really appreciate you taking your time to spend with us. It's an honor and a privilege to have you coming on. Joe,
it's good having a direct.
Right.
It's great having direct people on here.
Yeah,
definitely give Petar a follow on Twitter.
Yeah, especially if you want to see some really good stuff, because every once in a while,
even if you just want to lurk and see the conversations,
he just gets into it, man.
If you want to upset yourself, just follow me on Twitter.
No, man, it's fun. It's a lot of good times, man. Here's the thing: if you get that pissed off about Twitter, you need to kind of evaluate your life. It's just like, come on, man. It's like, even if you get just calm down, folks. It'll be all right. So we'll make sure we get all your channel and all that stuff in the show notes. And again, you're welcome to call on anytime you want. And please, we'd like to touch base with you again later on. And good luck to your channel and continued growth. And we're both.
Yeah, this is just season 1.
Right.
Likewise, yeah.
Yeah, we're both huge fans, so we'll definitely come back and meet you again sometime soon, I hope. All right, everyone, that's it. Oh, absolutely. So that's it. Joe and I are going to go ahead and take off. We're going to try to see if we'll be back next Sunday. I don't think we have a guest. Maybe Joe will get some time with the Xperia. Quality time. I don't know. It's a little.
Hell yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, baby.
You're making it weird, so stop. It's just a phone. Come on.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. So that's what we're here for, too, and all the tech and everything else. So, again, join us next Sunday for another Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Don't know the guest, but I'm sure even if we don't, we'll just sit here and just chuff around and have good conversations. And we really appreciate everybody in the chat, Lenny and Dan and Mike's in there, and Aditya showed up, and everybody that showed up. And I thought I saw Jermaine a little earlier. All right. So,
actually, quickly, I think Dan's doing a live stream after this.
Okay, yeah.
So Grounded Tech.
Yeah, go check that out.
Go over to there.
All right.
I think he is anyway.
And if he's not, we'll just direct your traffic anyway. So for myself and for Joe, that's the Nomad Tech Project for this Sunday. Come back next week. We'll have some good stuff. Remember, enjoy your tech. We love you guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll be back next Sunday. Have a good week.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.